those that don't know me, first of all, can you hear me okay? I was the one that didn't get the lapel mic. So you don't really want to listen to me for too long, so that's the right way to do it. I'm Simon Bowker. My day job, I'm Senior Director and Head of the Customer Workflow Solution team, so a lot of the time my team will be talking to that topic, but my, maybe not night job, but my other passion and initiative that I'm leading here in the ServiceNow ANZ business is focusing on a really important topic, which I'm sure for you too, around the skills gap that we see. And so today I'm really lucky to have our Senior Vice President of our Global Education team, Kat Lang.
Hiya.
And Rachel Talent, who's our Vice President of Customer Training. So
hello.
We're going to talk a little bit today about the Great Resignation, the Great Reshuffle, but importantly, how do we address some of these challenges? And so I think the point that resonated most with me on this topic was when a colleague of mine, Danny, who you probably saw on the main stage earlier, told me that 1 in 5 Australians are about to quit their job. So I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands and tell me which 1 in 5 here are about to leave. I hope none of you. But I think the challenge and the opportunity for us all is to say, well, we're a rapidly growing ecosystem. Our business, thankfully, is growing faster than most other technology companies, but even just the tech industry is growing extremely quickly. And so if everybody is just moving between different ecosystems, we have an exponential problem. And we need to look for ways to solve that, and our customers won't be able to get the value from our solutions if we can't help them with that. So without listening to my views on it, we've got the opportunity to talk to this in much better detail with some of our global leaders and the experts here. So maybe we'll kick off. Kat, you've got the benefit of meeting all of our customers and a global perspective. What are you seeing, and what do you think that impact is really going to be?
Yeah, I think what I hear most of all is we're talking about both kind of immediate need and then a long-term vision. And what I'm excited about and what I'm interested in is that everybody is starting to recognize the fact that we can't keep doing talent development and talent resourcing the same way that we've been doing it in the past. And it's really coming from three places. The first place is that we're in a world right now with hyper-automation and the workflow automation and the process automation that we're doing with AI and ML, that there are whole new categories of jobs being created. And companies have to be much smarter, and technology companies who want our customers to get the most value of our products have to be much smarter about how we're thinking about what are those new categories of jobs, and how are we understanding the transferable skills so that those jobs can be filled and people can start to build their careers. The second thing that we're seeing very, very clearly is there is a gap. There is a digital literacy gap. And I think there's a lot of the press, and what I'm seeing is that there's this belief that the incoming generations, because they know how to use their phones, have digital literacy. And the reality is there is a difference between personal digital literacy and enterprise digital literacy. So we also have to be much smarter about how we're thinking about the readiness for the enterprise digital jobs, but also how do we attract individuals to say, hey, these are interesting careers that let you really do a span of work. Which brings me to the third piece of this, which is that we are seeing the Great Resignation or reshuffle, whatever you want to call it. This is a global phenomenon. And one of the core aspects of this is that individuals are realizing they want to do work that has meaning. They want to connect to things that have purpose, both at the company level, but also in the work that they're doing themselves. And I think the ServiceNow purpose of we make the world work better for people is really important, because there's so much opportunity in the career to find meaning and purpose in the work that you're doing when you are transforming not just the business through process automation, but actually what it means to work at the company that you're in because you're in ServiceNow solutions. So this whole sense of that this is not just about building technical skills and hiring the right people, it's actually really rethinking what does talent development look like, what does talent attraction look like, and how are you attaching the skills that individuals are building to long-term careers and that meaning and purpose.
Right, and are there any examples of, when you're seeing people being reskilled from different industries, or, really embracing the sort of purpose? Any examples you've come across on your journey?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and again, it's kind of in three levels. I think the most obvious one is individuals who are coming from what I might call dinosaur technologies, legacy technologies, who have had really successful careers and they've realized that they've stalled out in those careers. And we see this in really successful companies are going and mining loyal, high-performing employees and giving them the opportunity, saying, hey, you already have 70% of this skill. You have the knowledge of what process design means, or you've already done work in automation or in integrations. Let's take that additional 30% and start layering in the ServiceNow opportunity so that you can really change the trajectory of that. The second area we really see it is what we call the kind of business transferable skills, which is this every job is a digital job is very real, which is if you're a head of human resources and you aren't learning technology that is about employee experience, you're going to miss the boat. So being able to take individuals who have depth of domain expertise and really start saying, now let's layer on the appropriate technology understanding. You don't have to be hands-on, but you should understand the underlying principles. That offers whole new career trajectory. And then the one that I think we all get really excited about is the new entrants. There's massive untapped community. We were just meeting with somebody as we were talking about startups with the indigenous people here in Australia to say, how are we making sure we're connecting with those startups and saying these are communities of individuals across the board in all different categories that have not necessarily had the opportunity to enter the digital workforce. Well, we have these great tools and platform that actually create a whole new talent pool, which I think is the one that really connects kind of to mission and purpose the most.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we can all align to that purpose. So, and before we get to the next question, obviously you have a pretty global role too.
Yeah.
Anything to add to those perspectives?
I mean, I think, really what Kat is saying is so true, that we're looking at, if you just think of yourselves, and what you want to do on a day-to-day basis, you want to be connected to purpose. You want to know that your role has value and that it has meaning and that there's going to be an outcome that's important to you. And so I think it's really recognizing that in the employees around you and the people that you hire and really mining that, understanding what that is, and then tying that role's purpose to what that person wants to do.
Excellent. Sorry, I was thumbs upping with the microphone comment then, so feel free to tell me to lift it. That's thrown me slightly there.
That's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
So just I guess from our perspective, when we talk to our ecosystem, we've got a lot of partners here. And we've obviously got a lot of customers here, and so we see it as our responsibility to, facilitate conversations and opportunities to really drive all of your challenges and really understand what they are and make it a conversation. And I think what we're doing in Australia to complement what our global education team's doing is actually making it a conversation that all of our customer-facing teams have with you, and that's as applicable to partners. But moving to customers, Rachel, what is your advice for the customers to do to face up to this reality and challenge, and what are the thoughts you have on that part of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so much time placed, so much investment placed on what's the right technology to buy, that a lot of what comes after that is a bit of an afterthought after the implementation. And so, I would look at, early, what are your digital transformation goals, and then look at what are the roles, what are the skills that are needed, and mapping then your current employees to what are the gaps and how do they get there. And we have both, a large amount of free and paid training that's available. We have services account executives as well as training solution consultants that can really help guide you on that journey to figure out what is the right training at the right time, what does it look like along that digital transformation to make sure that you get to your goals.
I would add to that, what I think we when we talk to customers, we often find that they're very focused on okay, I've gone live, now I'm going to start to train my team. And the edges are almost more important. And what I mean by that is if you're just starting with ServiceNow or you're starting your next solution with ServiceNow, get your training up front. Get your teams trained up. Because otherwise what's happening is they don't know enough to do the process redesign. They don't know enough to be able to contribute to what the user stories are, those types of things. So get your teams trained up, everyone involved, stakeholders through your technical team. And then the other edge that I think people miss is they miss the adoption story. So now it's launched. How are you going to make sure that the workers, the users, the consumers who are actually taking advantage of it know what they're doing? Not from the what buttons to push, but really what's the change in their job. So really thinking about adoption, thinking about change management, not big organizational change management, but just like, how are they excited? Is this motivating them? How are you going to get feedback? How are you going to make sure that you're actually getting the benefit that you want to get out of it? So really thinking about the full, when you start, what capabilities you're building, and then what's the ongoing adoption plan, and not just okay, now there's a transfer of information because I've gone live. It's another big piece, if you haven't had a chance to go to the value acceleration zone to kind of understand how you can see all of this in the impact digital experience, or how you can connect all of the people with the process and technology. It's a really great way to see the whole pieces together, all the pieces together.
Thanks, Kat. And we were talking about these users, these business users who are moving into roles which are not just users of ServiceNow potentially, but also starting to become sort of future developers in a different sense. Like, how many of our customers are really leading the way there, or any recommendations that you would have to how people start to introduce opportunities to people to say, hey, this could be you in months to come?
Well, we have a great citizen developer path, and I think that there's, creating almost an internal campaign around excitement for you yourself can actually take ownership and help accelerate the use of ServiceNow and automate within your own organization. And so creating a campaign around that internally to take advantage of this entirely free training path. And then from there, I think it really is just, hey, sky's the limit. Let's look at how we can fold that into an overall governance strategy, an overall launch into the organization. Anything else that you would add?
I think it's one of the scariest things and one of the most powerful things that any company can do is to think about putting innovation in the hands of your employees. And I think using things like citizen developer, citizen developer is not a job. There's no job called citizen developer, right? What it is taking individuals who are getting more hands-on experience with the platform, who have an idea for a solution, and giving them the tools to be able to build that solution. And I would really challenge you, if you have the opportunity in your organization, is think about putting innovation in the hands of your employees. Think about, can you put a competition in place, or a low-code hackathon, or a week of exploration or innovation where your folks get a chance to, let me learn this, let me play with it, let me spin up an instance and see if I can actually build the solution to the problem I'm experiencing every day, because they know the problem they're experiencing better than anybody, and it will create a massive sense of motivation and excitement and better understanding of how technology is making your company better and better for your customers. So I'd throw that challenge out to you. See if you can think about, how do you put innovation in the hands of your employees, and then how are you building those skills and capabilities through those types of activities.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. And if I was to ask the audience, anyone brave enough to say they've started on that journey? Show of hands. Is there anyone that would have an experience?
Okay, good for you.
Yeah.
Hats off to you, for sure.
Yeah, that's good. It's interesting. It's a minefield if you don't go about it with the right structure, but if the governance is there and the platform strategy is correct, that's where we are. So fascinating. So we haven't got too long left. If there are questions, we might have a little time at the end. So keen to open it up. But last question for you both. Start with you this time, Kat. What are we doing? Our customers looking at us to lead them. Obviously, it's our ecosystem, not necessarily all our jobs. Can you talk a little bit about those initiatives and what we're doing?
Absolutely. So I mentioned one already, which is, and I have Kristen and Nick here in the audience. I'm going to point them out. So if you want to go and talk to them about this, you can. ServiceNow has really taken a very firm stance about what our responsibility is and what our accountability is for building digital readiness and kind of employability for individuals that are starting into the technology world. So we regularly run boot camps and programs where we're skilling up individuals to the place where they're ready to get certified and they're ready to enter the job market. We do this at no cost to anyone. So there's an opportunity, if you're looking particularly for early in career, to tap into our next gen ServiceNow professional program. We also, Rachel has mentioned, through Now Learning, we have a huge amount of content for self-paced, for a lot of exploration, for people who want to go deep and get certified, or individuals who are looking just for singular skills around some of the capabilities. If you haven't been on Now Learning, please direct your folks there, because we're continuously adding new types of content, subject matter expert-led content, events, and those types of things. And then the last thing that we really are taking more responsibility for is, and Lara mentioned this today in the keynote, which is all of our customers are asking us for guidance about what's the team need to look like. So I'm not just looking at a single point solution, I'm looking at digital transformation and whatever that means, or I'm looking to get this outcome and these outcomes and this value. What do I need to build? So we're building a lot more tools, prescriptive guidance, consulting sessions. Rachel has an entire team that's going to come in and say, this is what your team needs to look like, and this is the path to build that team, and this is where you can do those transfer from existing resources. So to say you don't just need a system administrator. In this new world of job, these new categories of jobs, this is what you need to be thinking of for that sustainable solution. We want to consult with you, we want to work with you on what that needs to look like, and then what's the path to build those skills and capabilities.
That's awesome. And Rachel, anything to add there?
I mean, the other thing I would add on is, if you are one of our impact customers, there's an incredible amount of training benefits that are a part of that product. And so tapping into that, taking advantage of, as Kat said, the training solution consultant to get that strategy built is incredibly valuable, as well as all of the on-demand training and certification that's included as well.
Excellent. And we have a couple of minutes. It's literally just a couple of minutes. Are there any questions here? We don't always get the opportunity to have Rachel and Kat in person. Does anyone have any thoughts around that or questions? And if you do, we would have a microphone somewhere for you. Last chance, going once. Okay,
Yeah.
A shy bunch. That's okay. Well, we've only got a couple of minutes. That does give me enough time to wrap things up. Thank you so much for both being here.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're very privileged in Australia. In the last few weeks, we've had a lot of support from the global leadership team, and it's been great sort of exploring this topic with everyone. But I do hope that you started with the conversation on stage with Lara and have had the chance, if not go now, to understand what we're doing with the impact solution and how that's going to change the way we address that for customers and bring all of these things together. And then there's a lot of community activity happening, so please don't just come here and look at the amazing products. Do also think about team skills and take advantage of all of those discussions that we've got for you today. But for now, thank you very much.
I'm going to make a plug as well.
Oh.
We've got some fun virtual reality stuff. If you have never used a VR headset, I highly recommend it. It's over in the value acceleration opportunities area as well. And Simon, thank you. We've learned a lot this week, we've learned a lot this week about ANZ and what's necessary in Australia. And I hope you will all keep that feedback coming so that we can make sure we're doing local relevant programs for our customers here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.